Now you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere.
Everywhere.
Can you hear me now? Everywhere. Everywhere.
Yes, right from your Android or iPhone. Download the Radio Cayman app now on your Android or iOS phone.
The Radio Cayman app
is where you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere you go.
Everywhere we go, we go. Everywhere we go, we go.
Find it in the Google Store, the Apple Store, or use the link at www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Yes, now you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere.
Oh, I think they're doing a great job. A lot of them are.
Good afternoon, Dwayne. How are you?
Not too bad, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today with Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. If you're ready to talk, we're willing to listen.
Well, I really enjoy this program today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
May God bless every person.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thank you very much for being a part of our discussion. We're going to have an opportunity to start things off with the contestants and Ms. Darely Dakers from the Ms. Cayman Islands Universe competition. I want you to be a part of the discussion, so please stay tuned because at 1:30, hopefully before, Mr. Rich Dyer from Clever Knots will be in our guest as well. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. MedLab in Smith Road Plaza, your complete medical laboratory solution. Call 949-7331. And Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village, convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email talktoday@candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255.
Courtesy of Flow.
Cayman's #1 network that connects you to your world like never before.
Let your voice be heard. Once again, here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thank you very, very much for joining us. I wanted to once again welcome to the studio Ms. Darely Dakers, and together I think with an incredible team, not just mentoring, nurturing, but every year facilitating the wonderful pageantry. So, Ms. Darely, good afternoon to you, Mom. Welcome, good to see you.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having us.
I think there should be a song played as you enter. I wonder what that song will be.
Like a rock?
See? The exact song I was thinking.
That's going to be the song that we play for one of them on pageant night.
Well, I have to see if I can speak to our own Joel Wilson. Maybe he'll sing it for us that night.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pageant night. Yeah. Before we get into it, when is pageant night? Because it's like maybe tomorrow almost. It feels so close.
I know. The time is just flying. Pageant season kicked off in April where we had our orientation. Mm-hmm. And that's when we actually welcomed these young ladies to the pageant. And they've been so busy ever since they have taken on this journey. And our pageant night is actually set for the 6th of August at the Westin, 7 p.m. I can go on and on, but I know you have...
No, I want you to go on and on and on. No, but I want you to introduce 3 of the wonderful contestants. Now, I don't know if they can see the daughter, so I'll leave that to you. I'm told I came well trained having older sisters, so take lead from the women in the room.
Okay. Well, thanks for having us again, and thanks to Radio Cayman for all the support during the years as a sponsor and partner. Media partner. Mm-hmm. And so I'm going to actually leave them to introduce themselves, but I have 3 of the 8 contestants here with me today, and so we'll start with this young lady that's sitting right next to me.
Hi, good evening. My name is Azara Brown. I'm contestant number 2, representing the beautiful district of West Bay. I would like to thank my sponsor as well, Prestige Motors. A big shout out to them. So grateful for them to have them sponsoring me this year.
And thanks to them, yeah, the corporate sponsors are so important.
That is very important. We couldn't do it without them.
So true.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Chloe Paridoxy. I'm 25 years old. I'm proudly representing the Lively District of Georgetown. My sponsor is The Finishing Touch.
Okay.
And I'm also contestant number 6.
Thank you, Ms. Chloe.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Carmen Ebanks, hailing from the exquisite district of Georgetown. I would love to give a huge shout out to my sponsor, Moxham Timepieces, for their contribution. Without them, my journey towards the crown would not be possible.
You know, and I think I'm so grateful that the sponsors come on board, because just over the years, having a chance to speak, to the pageantry through you as a contestant, it's not just the entrance fees, not just the money for, and forgive me for not knowing the wardrobe and all the things, but they're willing to align themselves just like, a celebrity or a basketball player being, there. For you know what I'm saying?
Basketball player.
I know.
Football player, maybe.
and that's maybe perhaps, Ms. Dairley, one of the things that I think increasingly we're starting to recognize, that the contestants are not just athletic, they're academically inclined, they're artistic, they're a whole being. And there's so much more, and their beauty truly radiates from within. So I feel like I should be asking for autographs, right? I try to contain myself.
Miss Universe just rebranded the pageant, and basically, I guess part of their motto is that confidence is a state of mind. And so, having saying that, I feel that a lot of these young ladies that come on board the pageant encompass those qualities of being confident and just wanting to aspire for more. And that's so important, to always set goals for themselves and keep moving to the next level.
That's it, and inspiring others to come along. Now, there's, from what I gather, I did it once, but it's so long ago, I never did it. There's a session ceremony that takes place, right?
Yes.
Tell us about that. I think it's coming up soon.
Yes, it's actually on the 18th of June, and it's at 6:30 p.m. at the Grand Ole House. And so we welcome, it's open to the public, it's free admission. So if you want to come out and support these young ladies as they're being sashed by their sponsor, please do so. And so our theme this year, actually not for the session, but for the pageant, is Mystical Sunset. So you may have seen our flyers out there, Mystical Sunset.
What does that mean to you, Mystical Sunset?
I guess, the sunset, basically, as you rise, sunrise in the morning, it's the beginning of a day. It's just like new beginnings, basically. Right. And as the sun goes down, it's the ending of the day, obviously, and it shows I made it through another day. And I can do it again to see another sunrise. And I guess here in Cayman or sunset is just so beautiful with warm colors and so forth. It's just so embracing that it's a bit mystical as well. So that's where the mystical part comes in.
Indeed. Yeah. Well, when we come back from the break, could we ask of you to share with us, as you wish, and I'll try to contain my excitement. And honestly, I brought my pen, I was like, take the autograph. But tell us, what is it about the pageant that attracted you to it? Because this is not easy. I mean, many of us come there and we sit and we think, oh, geez, but not just the difficulty of walking in some of the shoes that you guys have done, but the fact of being on stage among the people and then the training and all the things. Share with us if you will, and let's have a chat. I'll go get some chocolate while you guys... No, just kidding. All right, join us after the break as we continue our discussion with our wonderful contestants. Stay tuned.
Busy. Feel like there's not just enough hours in the day. Savannah Pharmacy, service to make your life easier. Now you can WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. And pickup is just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays. WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. Savannah Pharmacy, wholesome values with modern conveniences.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab.
For a full range of medical services, pleasant, clean and comfortable environment, no long lines and affordable fees, visit MedLab at the Smith Road Plaza. Open Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and half day on Saturdays. Call 949-7331 to make your appointment.
For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
Ask our professional team about the benefits of cutting-edge technology with MedLab's new state-of-the-art digital mammogram machine.
Make your house into a home. Welcome to Brand Source Home Gallery, your source for premium products and a premium experience. We'll design and install your dream kitchen with crafted cabinets, complemented with elegant appliances. We'll fill it with quality houseware and cookware. Custom-designed closet and storage solutions organize and beautify any area. And with the finest bedding, you'll get a perfect night's sleep knowing Brand Source Home Gallery has everything you need to make your house a home.
Cayman, get ready for Blossom Premium All-Inclusive. Come enjoy ambience, sweet soca music, and a star-powered cast featuring Edwin Yearwood, Vashti, Red Plastic Bag, Erica Asai, and Sherwayne Winchester. Thursday, 30th June at the National Gallery. Party time 7 p.m. to midnight. Dress code light cocktail attire. Blossom Premium All-Inclusive for KMS Carnival, a production of Calabra and SW Limited.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waging to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thanks for joining us. And if I may say, thanks to the parents and siblings and the teachers and all the members of our community who draw alongside our youth and our young ladies in particular and encourage them. And I think Mr. Early, you, Ms. Donna, and the others for likewise, because it's a lot of expectations that we put on our young people. And many times we don't realize that if we help them to navigate life, it would be a lot more rewarding. So the Miss Cayman Islands Universe isn't just a pageant, one evening on stage and the audience is thrilled. There's a lot of work.
Absolutely, and we don't get paid, as many would like to think.
You don't?
No, we don't. But, the rewarding, I guess, aspect of it is that, to actually see, it's a development, really, to see them when they, from the onset as they come on board, and then the way that they then are transformed on pageant night, through the training and all of the other developmental skills that we, provide them with as well. So, for us, I feel that, for the what we strive to do really is to provide a platform to really empower these young ladies to be the best, version of themselves. And we offer a scholarship to assist in furthering their education, or scholarships, I should say, to assist in furthering their education. And it's just an empowerment, I feel, for these young ladies. And I believe that, once they have, basically come through our, this program, I would like to call it, although it's a platform, it's a beauty pageant, we just provide them with so many life skills, really, that they actually are ready to become that role model and just integrate themselves in the community as leaders, really. And I think we've been pretty successful in doing that over the years.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And I was asking, if there was anything in particular that inspired you, attracted you, and what was the impetus of wanting within you to do it? Mrs. Ara, would you want to start first and share with us? And then Chloe and Carmen? Right.
It is a challenge, but I feel like that's one of the main reasons that I joined it, actually. This year, I feel like it's time for me to come into my own, and challenging yourself is a very big part of that. It's a part of your development, and I feel like it just would benefit me, and it has been benefiting me so far. It's been a very enjoyable journey, and I can't wait to see where it takes me.
Well, there you go. Miss Chloe.
I believe it was fate for me that brought me into pageantry.
Mhm.
Once upon a time when I was younger, I really wanted to get into pageantry, but it just didn't happen. And then further along into the future, it was presented to me, and I just thought, why not? Nobody can stop me now. And as my pageant sister Zara said, it was about furthering myself, seeing what I could do, and it's giving.
The beautiful part is I listen to you, and I say this mindfully because I tell my students, when you're looking forward 20 years, it seems like an eternity. But when 20 years have passed and you look back, chances are it was as if it was just minutes ago, right? And so you're 25, and yet, you have this, I'm sure, expectations of yourselves.
Right.
And, well, some of us are not 25 yet.
Hey, now.
So I commend each of you for that. Ms. Carmen, what about you?
For me, it was stepping out of my comfort zone, trying something that, even though I did compete in a pageant when I was in 2019, it was just, it is a totally different structure, and I'm trying to build myself into the young lady that I know I can be for myself and for my community and for my younger generations who look up to us. And it is just, so far, it's been an amazing journey. These ladies are amazing.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
and thank you for saying that too, because I think
And they do bond, they
Yeah.
form that sisterhood that I believe, some of them do last a lifetime.
what's that song that you used to play when we were young? Sisters are doing it for themselves.
Ah, yes.
Don't pretend you don't remember.
I
She might look at you.
I get mixed up with the
You might
Dionne
maybe
Warwick song.
recognize it because of the singing, but the lyrics aside. No.
Yeah.
My singing next to you is like putting a frog to a prince.
Oh, my.
So, that doesn't work. But I love the camaraderie and the bond, and it is, I guess, a competition, but there's so much more to it. Again, maybe I start back with you. There's going to be a lot that you're going to have to ask of yourselves. There are going to be sacrifices you're going to make, choices. Listen, friends, I can't do this today because I have the work commitments. But that's life.
Exactly.
What do you think that does for you? I mean, we hear about time management and discipline and all these things, but doing it and knowing it, two different things, huh?
Yeah. I think it builds my character, actually, and I feel that putting those stuff aside and doing that for myself and having a reason to do that more than just for myself. It's also for my community. It's for little girls to look up to. It's for more than just myself. I think that's powerful.
Right. So, Carmen, 3 years on, it's like many things, whether it's the athlete going back, the Olympian, 1 and 4 years later, or whether you sit in an exam. Sometimes you get another opportunity at something. Time has passed. There's been growth in you. This time versus the time before versus what you see going forward. How does that make you the you that you want to be?
So for me, when I first competed in Imperial Beauties, I was just shy little girl. I'm just like, oh, am I really going to do this? Do I really want to do this? But then it's just a thought. Like, once you put your mind to something and you say, hey, this is what I want to do, this is going to benefit me in the long run, the opportunities are endless. You end up being an influencer, a role model in the community, like as my sister said, Izara, that it is not just only for you, but it's for your community to step out and just be that role model for younger generations.
Well said, and for Ask Chloe, they said there's an app for that, but I was thinking as she was singing, there's probably a song for that. She's talking about Shy Girl. What's that song?
Oh,
Come
right.
Come on.
These references we don't know about.
This is where the young folks and the young at heart still know.
Oh, my goodness. You're throwing it way back, huh?
Listen, it's not a Thursday, but it has to go back. and consciously doing that, because I think the scripture says, the more things change, the more they stay the same. And as I listen to you guys, I understand there's going to be a strong bond that's going to transcend the competition, and it's going to be God spares life, 70 years from now, you'll be sitting talking to each other with your great-grandchildren and say, you remember when? Hopefully, we have the coconut trees around. But Chloe, for you, there's a seriousness, there's a poise, there's a presence, there's a definite purpose. What is that?
Ooh, I would say the purpose would be for me to find out more about myself.
Mm-hmm.
Because I felt that I was really not giving myself a chance to find out who exactly I could be.
Mm-hmm.
And I decided, hey, I'm going to go for this. I'm going to do this for me because I felt like I'd been people-pleasing for a long time and not listening to my soul and what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
And this is that chance.
Yeah. As I listen, and Zara, Carmen said influencer, a word that long ago, again, deliberately, they throw it back.
It wasn't a part of our day.
It wasn't, right? and if you influence people sometimes, it was in a negative way, right? Oh, that bad influence, that bad company. And then you said, from my interpretation, Chloe, self-discovery.
Right.
And this is the journey that we go on. And for many of us, it happens when something significant transpires: marriage, birth, death, birth of a child, perhaps even, not even your own career change. So, Zara, from that notion, when you look here and seeing that there's an objective, August the 6th, that's tomorrow. Literally, it'll come and you wish that, you had another day or two. Be glad that it is. So for that young lady that's listening now, as you speak to her, to influence her, to go through her paces, what do you want her to hear from you?
Oh, I would definitely tell her to have confidence and be herself. When I was younger, I always wished that I would have someone to tell me that it's okay to be different than everyone else, rather than everyone trying to make me the same as them and influence me in a negative way.
And schools do that.
Someone else. Right? Yes,
schools
exactly.
want you to conform. You have to stand in line. You have to wear the same uniform, which in itself isn't bad. But if you were different in whatever way that was,
show yourself.
Yeah. This is where, Mr. Elliott, from that perspective, you're nurturing these young ladies, understanding, respect for the rule of law, and civility and stuff. But these are things that we already have. But it's okay to, thank you, I don't care for chocolate, but I do, but actually not that one. Can I have this one?
Right.
And learn the confidence to respectfully say, own my space, as Ms. Stephanie keeps telling me.
Absolutely. I tell my daughter that all the time. If someone, I know there was a situation with her in school, and she's like, but Mom, the student took the chair from me, and I wanted to sit there. And I'm like, well, can you say that, this was the chair that I wanted to sit on, and you came in my space. Can I have the chair back? Because I was actually going to sit in this chair. And she had her, and it's a way to do it in a very diplomatic, polite way, other than just like kind of just going off and becoming a wallflower, and you just feel like, oh my God, I can't. Oh my God, I can't speak up for myself. So I think, again, coming through this platform, we build that confidence. But I think also, too, that confidence should begin in the schools as well as at home. We have to teach our kids to just be proud of who they are, and it's okay to speak up. It's okay to say no, and there's really no explanation needed sometimes if you say no either.
Can I then ask, and I should have said it outside because it was my intent, that anything I say, a comment or a question, and you're not quite sure, you're not quite comfortable, just pivot, just let me know. And I always used to, despite, you guys are all the age of majority, I thought it was important that I should speak to you through your chaperone, but forgive me. You're such a wonderful group of, individuals.
Thank you so much.
So it really touches my heart, man. It makes my future look, like it's going to be actually something productive, despite the policies of the world and the politics of the people. But to see how the press owners here, thankful. To you, Ms. Chloe Starr, there is something about us that we know from very early on. We have a sense of exploration and independence. We like certain things, we don't like, and some would say, oh, you're precocious. Some would say, what is that thing about you that from day one? There's always been, you can see the independence, you can see the confidence, but...
Oh, how do you know me already? I am definitely rebellious. I am so opinionated. I am an adventurer.
Kindred spirits, huh?
Yes. I would say that that I'm also very loyal. I love my friends. Whenever you need me, call me. Carmen knows that, girl. I got you. It's been rough. Like, we've been going through it throughout this whole thing. So,
yeah. What about you, Carmen? What about you? Because there is that shyness, that reticence, but also there is that desire to step out. But let me not pretend like I'm some sort of. You go tell us, girl.
For me, I am a shy person. It's just like when you talk to me, I'm just like, I'm on the spot. So it's like I get that nervousness.
But not today, though.
Not today, because I'm getting used to it. And with this platform, it's just like you learn to step out and be more confident in yourself. So during this time, like, I'm learning a lot about myself. I'm stepping out. I'm doing things I've never done, like joining a pageant again. So it's just like, it's amazing.
No, what that song will be?
Oh my God, that makes me feel really good. Because I remember Carmen, like at the at one of the first meetings that we had, and she was like, just coming out of herself, and so just to see that transformation within weeks, it's just amazing, as well as Zara. But as Chloe said, she's always kind of been up front there, so. And which is good, but basically.
I have my shyness too. No, really, I'd be like,
yeah,
get it together, breathe.
Yeah. But she's coming into her own as well.
What about you? I mean, there are things within us that they say to love, you have to be vulnerable, and it's not easy. Trust me. What about you? Because you have the poison degrees, but without question, you're making sure that the package is presented in a way that is palpable. But what is that thing that we see that we only see if we look closely?
I'm sorry, can you
okay, yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Tell us about you. Who is Zara? What's that one attribute about you that shines through no matter what?
My vulnerability. I have the gift to get really compassionate and very understanding with people, and that's one of my favorite gifts.
You're very empathetic.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, your eyes are just a giver.
Oh, thank you.
There's so, Miss Daly.
There's a warmness about all of them.
They're
really.
so wonderful, man.
And you just want to be around them.
Yeah.
No, seriously, this is a great group.
Yeah, the eight of you are fantastic. I'm looking for every year. I look forward to all of. I mean, I don't get into it. I know there are multiple pageants around the world and even here, but every single one of you is just so remarkable. And I want you to always carry yourselves in the highest regard, with the highest sense of self-respect.
That kind of melted my heart.
All right,
You're making them all mushy now.
Yeah. Let me save myself from my tongue. Let me pause and take a break. When we come back, let's enjoy the conversation. Please, stay tuned.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab.
For a full range of medical services, pleasant, clean and comfortable environment, no long lines and affordable fees, visit MedLab at the Smith Road Plaza. Open Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and half day on Saturdays. Call 949-7331 to make your appointment.
For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
Ask our professional team about the benefits of cutting-edge technology with MedLab's new state-of-the-art digital mammogram machine.
A caring and community spirit, cherished family and cultural values. These are some of the things that still embodies the Caymanian way of life in the Eastern Districts today. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, is delighted to offer products and services of real value. Whether it's catering to your family's medical needs or carrying apparel, gifts, and beauty products, Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
If you care about your car's performance and fuel economy, you must fill up at Jose's Escape with the new Pier 93. Experts know that the higher the octane rating, the better your engine will perform. Pier 93 is the highest octane fuel available in Cayman. Protect your car against pre-ignition and engine knocks. Top up your tank now with Pier 93 at Jose's Rubis and enter to win an awesome track bike. But there's more. Jose's offers 2 lateral flow test kits for only $10. The best KN95 masks, 2 for $5. And 10 stylish black surgical masks are only $5. Share the love. Purchase Reflections gift certificates and enter to win the amazing Trek bike.
Workforce Opportunities and Residency Cayman are reminding customers that applications must be completed in full or they will not be accepted. In efforts to improve customer service and processing time, only fully completed applications will be accepted. Customers are responsible for providing the required information for the application to be processed and are encouraged to review the application checklist before submission. For guidance, visit www.worc.ky.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waging to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back, and thanks to Mr. Early for allowing us to have not just great fun, not just to formally be introduced to the three of the contestants in the Miss Cayman universe, but if I may say for me, to be publicly encouraged and inspired to recognize that no matter what age you are, no matter what stage in life you are, there's much that you can accomplish and you can be given as you receive. And right now, you guys are giving me a great sense of warmth and love. And
there's a lot of positive energy in here.
There is,
yeah.
huh?
I mean, it's
feel
really
it
positive today.
That's all I focus on. That's true. Television on positivity.
Yeah. And this is the camaraderie I think that we've bonded so far. I feel like I should be Sasha on Saturday as well.
Absolutely. Let's have a night. You'll be the night contestant.
Yeah, I'll be the night.
Oh, yeah.
No, but that would be unfair. I mean, I'd already won. Because I would stand out, you know?
Yeah. You definitely stand out.
My hair will be glistening. We should do this song.
Stand out.
Yeah.
Oh my
or
gosh.
shine on.
Shine.
Oh my gosh.
This girl is on fire.
You guys.
There you go.
You know what, man?
All right.
I just hope my mom not listening.
What has gotten into him today?
You started right.
That's all that positive energy in here.
No, but this is what I think that we need to embrace in our country, and we need to not just look on the outshores. We need to stand here and look inward. And you guys, you make your families, but I hope you also recognize that you make yourselves proud as you make this country.
Most definitely.
You know, and for me, love is about laughter. It's about being able to draw close to your friends and enjoy life. And there's so much that's going on, so that you bring this level of positive energy is important. But pageantry sometimes makes some of us look at it in a way that I'm glad it's changing, because through you we're seeing that little tidbit that we see on that final night, that's just the icing.
Tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, there's so much more that goes in. Could you talk to us thus far, one, what you've sort of experienced and what you're thinking will transpire in terms of the training? Not just the walking and the speaking and all the other things. Zara, what about you? I mean, because it builds confidence, but it also builds discipline.
Exactly.
And character.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. You know, one of the first things they said to us in our first meeting is that they want us to take care of ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And when I heard that, I was like, yep, I'm exactly where I need to be.
Mm-hmm.
Because the perception of pageantry is more of like, they don't really care about what you feel or what you're going through, but they wanted to take care of us.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if that's all, but I know it's the Miss Cayman Universe Committee for sure.
Thank you.
We've learned to, through speaking and walking and all of our many trainings, as you said, we learn discipline, but also we learn more about ourselves through our challenges and our strong suits and our weaknesses, and we get to grow through all of that together as sisters, as friends, as a new little family, because we're going through all of that as one. So it's an amazing process. And
wow. Yeah. We tend to bond, right, Miss Chloe?
Yeah, she said everything that needed to be said with that one.
Yeah.
Really.
And I think this is where, as I've come to recognize through the years, that you as contestants in each cohort, you're competing, but you bond. You come to appreciate the emotions that you have, the vulnerabilities, the things that you will share with each other, the self-discovery. And I think that's the greatest growth process of all. and you do influence many of us, not just the males who look on with their daughters in tow as fathers, but the young ladies who look up at you and say, they can do this. Look at what they're doing. Is there a particular part of the process, to you, Chloe, first, that is a bit more challenging, whether it's the physical preparation in terms of the diet, the exercise, and all the stuff? Is it the public expectations or your expectations of the public expectations?
I feel it's the public expectations, honestly, and the public speaking. Oh my goodness! So I thank God for this practice right here. It's doing me good, and I mean I don't count calories. I'm good, so I don't have to worry about the diet part. That's less stress on me. Just learning how to present myself. I've never been really a too girly girl. I'm a tall boy, but I love to do my sports and then flip the script and go girly like this. So
yeah, I haven't tried the girly part yet, but you've encouraged me to get in touch.
I can help.
But you're looking at coming to the session and being a part of the ceremony. So
no, can you imagine? But I love that you said that, because I think that as a society, we're now getting to a space where we need to stop assigning labels to things and to recognize that you can leave. Forgive me, I use football. With your cleats on the football pitch, and run to your wedding, and if you want to put on you should be able to do that without but she can't do that. And as a father with a daughter, you want that for her, but the society will want it. So Carmen, what do you think? I mean,
Chloe pretty much summed up what I am and everything, but it's for me, it's the public speaking that is really, really helping me a lot, because sometimes I'm just like, I don't know the words, I don't know what to say, or just I'm put on the spot right away. I'm just like, oh my gosh, I gotta rack my brain. And like with this public speaking, it's just like they give you tips on how to talk, how to carry yourself. It's a lot, but when I say it's a lot, it's in a good way.
Yeah. Something that helps me, I appreciate that those who criticize them probably can't do any better. Those who are critiquing, I take on board, right? Because it's constructive.
You're right.
Oh yeah. I just every year we get those armchair terrorists, I call, or keyboard terrorists, behind the computer screen or on their phone or whatever, that people they're not too visible, and they just but
they draw courage through being cowards.
Yes. Absolutely. So the thing is to know that there'll always be somebody that's going to have something negative to say, especially when you're trying to stand out to do something positive, something good, and especially for your life. Always going to be somebody out there that's telling you can't do it, or they could do better, or someone else can do it better. But within you that, and I always say one of my favorite verses is that you can do all things through Christ
who strengthens me.
Yes.
I feel like it's very important for us to find grace even when we mess up. And at least we're trying.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
Compassion is important.
Thanks for sharing that, because I think that's what we need to all hear, especially as parents sometimes, that we heap a lot of expectations, even unknowingly, on our children. Even we want the best, we're pushing them, we're encouraging, but we don't understand the pressures. I'm mindful of the time, Mr. Early. And unlike me, I'm at work. You guys got to get back to your stuff. But what, perhaps, as I ask each of you, what you would want to take away from the pageant, and what you would want to hope as part of your legacy at this journey. Would you want to start first, Ms. Zara?
Sure. I would like to have known that I have developed into the young lady that I know I'm capable of being, and I know that I will be at the end of this.
Awesome.
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's
she got me wrapped up in her.
No, I was likewise. At the end of this process, what's your takeaway? What are you hoping will be part of your legacy as you not only go through this, but prepare yourself forward, whether it's increased studies, career, just life? What is that thing that you're hoping this pageant will do for you to put you where you want to be?
I'm hoping that I will give more compassion to myself. Like I said earlier, I've had a really bad habit of being really too hard on myself when I mess up. So just being more vulnerable, compassionate, learning more about myself and encouraging others to do the same and take that step and don't quit. Don't quit no matter what it is. It will be hard. That is life. And if, like, you must start somewhere. All trees start as saplings to grow. So, and we all come from the darkness to rise up into the light.
Mm-hmm.
So I was there at that one point in time, and now here I am trying to push myself into the light and make my presence known.
Oh, wow. It shall be soon.
I mean, are we reading minds today?
There's such a connection with you guys.
You know we can actually do that, right?
Yeah.
We just got to be like really in sync, but I think it's happening.
It is because I'm just like, Zara said the same thing, and then Chloe's saying what I'm saying, and I'm just like,
What are you going to say?
So for me, what I want to have gotten out of this journey with my pageant sisters is to have grown within myself, to be a role model to the younger generations, male and female, to be like, you know, there are some challenges in life, as what Chloe said. There are some challenges in life, but once you put your mind to it and you're determined to do it, you will get really far. It's based on the positivity. So, like, once you're positive at all times, you're good.
That's right, man. Positivity. I think you have a positive...
Oh, yeah. This is great. Yeah, this is absolutely great. I can certainly feel... it's been so much great feedback about this group of young ladies as well that, we're really looking forward to...
Well, looking forward to having discussions
great
with
few months with them.
The other, I don't want to call them comrades, And thank you very much, Mr. Early. So on the 6th of August is pageant
6th
night?
of August, 7 p.m. at the Westin, and tickets will be available at the Sashin. And tickets are $90. There's no VIP area. Of course, the Westin Ballroom is nice all around. So, please come out and support these.
And the Sashin is next weekend?
Next weekend on the 18th, 6:30 at the Grand Ole House.
All right.
Yeah. We'll see you all there.
I hope that we have a wonderful, showing from the public to support you guys. Thank you very much for blessing my day.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Enjoy your weekend.
You've added to all the light that we're sharing here.
Oh, yeah.
Let there be light. And there is indeed. Well, enjoy yourselves. Hopefully we'll catch up again soon.
Yes.
I would love to be back. This is fun. So
Yes.
much laughter. I feel young.
Yeah.
Forever young.
But that's
I want to be forever young.
Do you really want
to live forever? Forever young. Forever.
Thank you all very much, man. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. All right. You know what? Let's pause and go to the news, but don't forget the Sasha next week on the 18th. We'll try to remind you so you can be a part of it. It's a free event, and we can support the wonderful contestants at the Miss Cayman Universe.
Great.
Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Satisfaction is guaranteed 24 hours a day, whether it's music or information.
From Grand Cayman to Cayman Brac to Little Cayman, we've got you covered.
You ever hear a thing like that?
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
The Ministry of Health and Wellness welcomes a new epidemiologist. For the next 6 months, Rachel Corbett, who recently arrived from the UK, will be supporting the monitoring and reporting of infectious diseases in the Cayman Islands. Ms. Corbett has previously studied at the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine and worked as an epidemiologist in the UK for over 6 years. In international news, the Biden administration is lifting its requirement that international air travelers to the U.S. take a COVID-19 test within a day before boarding their flights, easing one of the last remaining government mandates meant to contain the spread of the coronavirus. A senior administration official said Friday that the mandate will expire Sunday, adding that the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention determined it is no longer necessary. The initial mandate allowed those who are fully vaccinated to show proof of a negative test within 3 days of travel, while unvaccinated people had to present a test taken within 1 day of travel. The Texas school police chief, criticized for his actions during one of the deadliest classroom shootings in the U.S. history, said in his first extensive comments published Thursday that he did not consider himself the person in charge as the massacre unfolded and assumed someone else had taken control of the law enforcement response. Pete Arredondo, the police chief of the Uvalde School District, also told the Texas Tribune that he intentionally left behind both his police and campus radios before entering Robb Elementary School. An 18-year-old gunman killed 19 children and 2 teachers behind a locked classroom door that the chief said was reinforced with a steel jam and could not be kicked in. Those are your latest headlines. I'm Shanna Gallego.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab. Blood test, x-ray and mammogram, all of that is MedLab. Affordable fees and friendly service, a full professional team. MedLab is always comfortable, MedLab is always clean. For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
Call 949-7331 and ask about MedLab's new state-of-the-art digital mammogram machine.
You see how hard it's raining?
Yeah, and I don't have time to fight traffic and get my lunch from Subway. I have so much work to do.
Why don't you order Subway by using the Let's Eat or Bento app? Save time, stay dry, and get your sandwich fast.
I never thought of that. Great idea. I'm going to order now.
Order me a veggie pizza while you're at it.
And a cookie platter for the office.
Too busy at work or home? Is the rainy weather stopping you from dining out? Order your favorite Subway sandwich, wrap, or pizza through the Let's Eat or Bento app with fast and reliable delivery.
Ransomware,
Subway,
DDoS, malware, phishing. If you don't know what those mean, you're not alone. But if you aren't protected against those cybersecurity attacks, then your business is at risk. Don't leave your data or your business vulnerable. Get Digicel Business Protect. Simpler, smarter cybersecurity. Visit our website, www.digicelbusiness.com, to request a callback or call us now on 623-2499.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program. Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waging to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks. Subway is serving up a special new sauce, bursting with flavor in every bite. The new Savory Collection is a tropical sweet and spicy sauce made with a combination of spices, habanero peppers, thyme, onion, black pepper, ginger, citrus juices, and molasses.
Wow. Sensational.
Delicious. Subway's Savory Collection pairs perfectly with our oven roasted chicken or steak sub. Savor the flavor. For a limited time, only at Subway. Subway. Eat fresh.
89.9 Radio Cayman helps you to weather the storm during this hurricane season.
One of the most crucial elements of hurricane preparedness is storm awareness. During the season, it is of utmost importance to pay attention to the latest local weather forecasts, as hurricanes do not suddenly form or strike. There are various methods of advanced notification. Utilizing such may be the difference between a favorable outcome and disaster. Both television and radio serve as excellent mediums with up-to-the-minute storm path information in the wake of a hurricane. Another method of tracking a hurricane may be only arm's length away. Your smartphone or tablet can be your most valuable tool before, during, and after a storm, providing countless numbers of apps with crucial hurricane information. Many apps allow you to track storms with moving radar and satellite imagery, plus offer alerts, current conditions, forecasts, advisories, and even video.
This hurricane preparedness tip was brought to you by your community radio station, Radio Cayman, 89.9 FM.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waging to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Welcome back, and thank you so much for joining us. And thanks too to Ms. Sterling for always her and the entire committee for always being so committed and involved in nurturing And I say this, with the other pageants as well, because we see the level of instruction, the level of mentoring, and it's great. And for this extended time to be able to chat or with those contestants, reminds me that life is, as much a journey and a walk as it is a reward and a destination. So, honored to have had that opportunity. Now we can have some open line as we invite you to be a part of a discussion. Remember that on the 18th, there's going to be the sashing ceremony, and go, be a part of the celebration, and explain, I think, as best as you can to those in your circle how important it is for us to share as we celebrate and encourage and nurture our young ladies in particular. So it's not so much what is necessarily that we're trying to get out of something as it is for us as we're trying to contribute. It's going to be open line, and at 1:30, or if his schedule allows a little bit earlier, Mr. Rich Dyer will join us to talk about an excellent evening plan for tomorrow. But we'll let him share more about it. But give us a shout and share your thoughts with us. 949-8037, 1-800-534-8255. Or you can WhatsApp 925-3261 and share your thoughts with us. Give us a perspective on where you are and what you're up to and what is happening all around. And as I say that, I'm reflecting on the time and space that we occupy in this part of our history and our journey. And I wonder, to how many of us are we wondering, questioning, sort of, in many spaces, are we expecting? What is it that we think will transpire? We know, just listening to much of the political discussions, we hear some of the others in the private sector who, for some reason over the years, have been termed the movers and the shakers. But the question is, are they really doing what is best for the future generations? But things, as the Honorable Premier referenced, that are quite daunting aren't things that necessarily just rear their heads now. They've been on the cards for a long time and maybe not sufficiently addressed, or as many other politicians have, for the most part, sort of allege and accuse administrations of doing, kicking the can down the road. So take, for instance, the issue of the cost of living. No question that is being compounded by nice euphemisms like supply chain interruptions. Well, why is it that way? And depending on where you are, is it affecting everyone in the same way, or is everyone even being impacted by it? Take, for instance, is a product or commodity available in one jurisdiction but not? Is the confidence that you have in what is being shared publicly, whether it's from official sources, whether they be government or NGO or otherwise, or whether they are from and through the more up to this point credible or expected to be credible and competent media outlets. And I say that to share that in a discussion earlier this week, I recognize the challenges that many of us are having, and especially our younger folks who are understandably being conflicted and confused by some of the information that they receive, not only because at one time it contradicts what was said earlier, but seemingly when you analyze it, it doesn't have that same level of, as one young student said, it doesn't make sense. Well, if that is a perspective and they're unable to voice and question, then what is that doing for, their sense and sensibilities, but also their sense of belonging and their sense of hopeful expectation? Well, give us a shout and share your thought with us. 949-8037, 1-800-534-8255. Oh, what is it that is of, in your mind, that one thing that is so pressing that we should share a thought and have others consider it as well? 949-8037, or toll free with the compliments of flow, 1-800-534-8255. Or WhatsApp 925-3261. And with all this happening, I think as a young fellow shared with me very earlier in the day. He said, you become so singularly focused on something that sometimes you ignore so much. For him, he said, it was his dream of being a professional athlete, and he practiced, and that was the one thing that consumed, everything and all about him. His teachers commended him, his parents supported him, and made sure he got to practice, got to games. They were, so taken with his discipline, his sense of commitment and dedication, his willingness to forego socializing at times with friends, and they seemed to have been okay with it. But he shared, this one thing that is all consuming. Even if you are an aspiring Olympian, and even if you go and you make Olympic history and Olympic after Olympics after Olympics, you come away with the highest of honors, not just the fact that you qualified to represent your country. You came away with the goal, not just any medal, but with the goal, and you set world records. He said, what would it have, valued at the end of the day had you lost relations and the like? And for such a young individual to be so pensive, he shared that it's only sadly when things transpire in our lives that are irreversible, when something happens and it is not inconceivable that such a thing would transpire. You just didn't expect it then, or you didn't expect it to that person or in that way. And as he was, leaving my company, he shared it's important, and that not only that the young understand that there is, within all of us, a sense of being invincible, but for many, when that young individual senses and demonstrates that sense of invincibility, that single focus, almost narrowly entrenched notion of this is what success must be and looks like, and this is how you attain it, that it is, he thought, would have been helpful that those same people who were so supportive and nurturing, from the parent to the teacher and others, that they were able to interject in there, you need time for other things. Now, he said he can say that now in looking back because of what transpired, but at that point, looking forward, it was the only expectation that he not only had for himself, but he felt everybody else was, and it propelled him. But again, I think maybe the thought that sometimes comes to mind is the scripture that says, how should it profit a man to gain the world and lose his soul? So with that in mind, I come away and I read a message he sent me not long after he left, and he said, if we're not as a people willing to speak out and stand up and speak against the things that may seem unpopular, may cause us to be looked at in a way as if we're not as endearing and as accommodating and as amenable, then how do we rest at night? Well, I then sent sort of a similar thing on to a particular elderly person who has incredible wisdom and whose position of influence who would be such that they would bear weight on much. And his response was that this is why we need to draw alongside the politically elected, but also appointed, and have them appreciate that their actions have consequences. And he said, for instance, take the notion of access to certain things. If we look after Hurricane Evan, many of us felt that we were in the same boat, but there were some who weren't, who didn't have that same level of concern and angst, who were able to enjoy certain meals when others seemed to all eating the same thing. Now, is that because of who they are, or is it because of their proper planning and preparation, or is it that we have grown increasingly, and he believes this to be the case more so now, into a very divided society, one that causes some to be shunned and avoided. He gave us an example, the recent eye-opening experience where he, as part of a particular group, offering up assistance and service to some communities, and to only appreciate that whatever challenges that may have existed in that community or in that household, from unemployment to lack of economic means to other issues, have only now been compounded by the increased challenges. And he thought that this is probably partly why some of the politicians and their response is to provide greater, public assistance. Now, he thought it's not a case where you can buy your way through something like this. It's not a case where if you ignore it, it'll go away. But the public spend isn't sufficient if it takes away, especially the level of purpose that people will feel, their sense of self-worth, and that they're constant reminder that nothing is going to get better, because everything that looks the way it is now is only going to come down as time sort of continues. That, my friends, has been an opportunity, to look very pensively at some of the things. So from that very, a young mind, and his words of wisdom and reflection and introspection, then to be sort of cemented by the counsel of the elderly head, just shows us that no matter what, many of us experience the same things. It's just a matter of how we embrace them or understand that we can endure it. We have the strength, the resolve, and the resistance. 8949-8037, 1-800-534-8255, or WhatsApp 925-3261, and share your thoughts with us as we invite you to be part of a discussion. It's going to be an increasingly challenging time for many individuals, given what we understand relative to their financial sort of wherewithal, their continuing concerns about food security, and the prospect that their lives will forever be dictated and decided by others relative to their comings and goings, whether it's international travel or movement within the country, or there's access to basic food items to purchase, or the sacrifices that they have to make in order to procure employment, to the notion of how we interact. And as one lady reminded me earlier, it's not about being insensitive, inconsiderate, nor disrespectful. It's about recognizing that if you're constantly monitored and being dictated as to how and when and why, then really where are your personal freedoms? Not just the liberties to move as you wish, but the notion that you can and should not be as a viable human entity, as she puts it, subjected constantly to the whims and fancies of some either bureaucracy or autocracy or even some despot. And she says, under the guise of today's determination and interpretation of how democracies are being applied, are we cognizant of the changes that are transpiring, given that for some it almost seems that the politically elected in a democracy are single-handedly ruining not just businesses but lives of many. Well, I only wish one day she will accept the invite to be a part of our discussion publicly, because I think what she has to say would resonate with many in a very, very telling way. 8949-8037, 1-800-534-8255, or WhatsApp 925-3261. And as we were sharing you part of our discussion for today's program, we'll have a chance to speak to Rich Dyer from the band Clever Knots. They'll come in and share with us then 2 o'clock the discussion relative to an upcoming program with the youth on the Cayman Arts Festival. But 949 or 1-800-534-8255. And now for a lot of individuals, and very much like this individual who sharing a thought, I must say very appreciative, and as I read what has just been said, this is not something that we hear once off. It's something that is shared in many ways by many people, sometimes even publicly from a call. And this person is asking, wondering, when the public raises an issue on talk shows or in other public forum, what comes of it? Are those listening, are they able to make a difference when, our concerns are raised, or is it all in vain? Are we just speaking into the wind and wasting our breath? As I'm reading that, I look back on another message from an individual who said one time that, it seems as if until something affects someone directly, it's only then that they feel, the consequence of it, and not necessarily that they are, always attentive to the concerns of a wider community. And as I look for the comment, I thought it was appropriate to read it if I could find it, because paraphrasing it would not necessarily do it the justice as it deserves. And that individual was referencing a particular thing that was unfolding and made the very, very salient point that in our society, it seems that we're too quick to dismiss something because of who's saying it, and yet we celebrate other things because it seems to gain easier traction because of the sponsors of the initiative and the like. Well, what is it that we've been told? Kisses go by favors, so it's probably no different in that regard. 8949-8037, 1-800-534-8255, or you can WhatsApp 925-3261 and share your thoughts with us. It was truly a distinct pleasure, and I look forward to speaking, to the other 5 of the 8 contestants in the Miss Canals Universe, pageant that's coming up on the 6th of August. The Miss Cayman World and the others, if they provide us with what I think the distinct pleasure and privilege to be able to speak to their contestants. I always look forward to it, because I don't think that we appreciate that our young people, and our young ladies in particular, that we need to draw alongside them in a positive way. And the comments that we make or that we acknowledge privately, we need to appreciate that in the absence of us publicly providing a safe, nurturing space for them, providing the mentoring and the opportunities not just for tertiary education, but for continued development, from the ability to understand the importance of how we treat our bodies, from the foods and exercise to the rest and relaxation, to the socialization, to all the things. We need to be able to have that as part of our lives, so that it becomes not just second nature. It becomes that thing that is so integrated that it is, transpiring unconsciously, as it were. And when we look at our young people and our young ladies in particular, if there are not things before them that provide the most, opportunities for the highest probability of a positive outcome, then that's on us, is it not? And when they may engage in activities because of youthful indiscretions or the folly of the ill-advised, then perhaps, again, that is on us. So, what is your perspective? 8949-8037, 1-800-534-8255. We'll pause quickly and take a short break, and when we come back, more Talk Today.
Due to infrastructure upgrades, customers on Canal Point Drive off Westway Road and the Esterly Tibbetts Highway will experience interruptions to their electrical service on Sunday, June 12th between 7 a.m. and 10 a.m. For more information on the outage, contact COC's customer service team at 949-5200 or email at service@coc.ky.
The Health Services Authority's new pharmacy is now open at the Smith Road Medical Center. The new location features a large, comfortable waiting area and ticketing system to improve the patient experience. All uncollected prescriptions and refill requests previously submitted will now be available for collection at the Smith Road Pharmacy. Request your refills online at hsa.ky via WhatsApp 925-6532 or call 244-2715. For more information about our pharmacy hours, visit hsa.ky.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way. Positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
The Tuesday and Thursday edition of The Business Buzz is brought to you by Cayman Medical Supplies, providing quality pharmaceuticals, medical supplies, and consumer products to healthcare providers, retailers, and ultimately the patients at a reasonable rate in a friendly, caring, and timely manner. Cayman Medical Supplies is located at number 93 Smith Road, Windward Center. Telephone 949-6211.
Your Radio Cayman 6 p.m. news, Monday through Friday, is brought to you by Logic. Your life connected.
It's Cash Whiz Cayman Kids Got Talent Show
2022.
Calling all kids 11 to 17 years to showcase their God-given talent and win cash and prizes. Registration ends June 18 and forms are available at your schools in Cash Whiz Cayman. Limited space, so register now. Cash Whiz Cayman Kids Got Talent
2022.
Call for more information 321-7274 or 927-6352.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome, Mike, and thank you very much for joining us. 949-8037, 1-800-534-8255. And as we were going to go into the break earlier, I was going to share with you that it is our understanding that the traffic on the road is not necessarily the most fluid. So please be very careful and courteous and considerate as you drive and ensure that you are able to, as best as possible, arrive not just on time but safely arrival, and journey is so much better. All right, what's on your mind? 949-8037, 1-800-534-8255. Doing a quick break. Concerns raised relative to the increasing cost of living, not just the price of gas at the pumps and the like, but then the impact that's going to have on everything else. And if he doesn't mind, he's been a very strong, ardent public advocate about fuel prices. Mr. Mario, D. Rankin shared for a very, very long time. That is something that we need to look at, not just in terms of the national security, but the growing inabilities for not just businesses to be able to profit from their investments, that individuals being able to meet the increasing cost of living. And for some, they think that the answer may be that the government takes the duty off of this, or not just reduces it, but removes it completely, or provides some sort of financial assistance in some way. And those are helpful. But as a lady reminds us, if a government reduces revenue from one area, is that reduced revenue altogether? So reduce services that the government can provide? Or does it mean that it is now what is reduced in one is made up by increasing it in another area, either through a new tax or otherwise? All right. Fox, perhaps what we can do is, Mr. Rich is here. We can, pause it up and bring him in and sit and join. Yeah. All right, let's pause and quickly take a break. When we come back, the band Clever Knots, Rich Dyer will be our guest. So stay tuned.
Busy, busy, busy. Feel like there's not just enough hours in the day. Savannah Pharmacy, service to make your life easier. Now you can WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. And pickup is just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays. WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. Savannah Pharmacy, wholesome values with modern conveniences.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab.
For a full range of medical services, pleasant, clean and comfortable environment, no long lines and affordable fees, visit MedLab at the Smith Road Plaza. Open Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and half day on Saturdays. Call 949-7331 to make your appointment.
For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
Ask our professional team about the benefits of cutting-edge technology with MedLab's new state-of-the-art digital mammogram machine.
We think it's time you crossed over to a new vehicle. And with the Toyota Corolla Cross now at Vant Motors, you have plenty of reasons to make the switch. The crossover body and hybrid engine is a sleek design in a sturdy structure with a spacious interior that opens to extensive cargo space. Stuck in traffic? The high-performance self-charging hybrid system automatically switches between gas and electric vehicle mode, helping you lower both fuel costs and carbon emissions. The Corolla Cross has full LED lighting inside and out, an integrated display audio system with energy monitor, and a dual-zone climate control system to ensure comfort for all. Test drive the new Toyota Corolla Cross Hybrid today at Vant Motors, Walkers Road.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thank you very much for joining us. Thanks to our good friend Rich Dyer for reaching out. They say you can see his intellect, you can see his artistic, creative expression, and the man.
Keep going.
You only gave me $2, man. Hey, come on, you want more?
Cost of living, Sterling. Cost of living.
Hey, that was just like one of those tagline, those previews that you can see what you can get if you pay. Rich Dyer, pleasure as always. Welcome, man. Thank you for coming on board.
Thank you for having me, Mr. Sterling Dwayne. It's been a little minute there.
Yeah, it's been too long, man.
It has been. Yeah, you've been too busy for me.
Yeah, well, it could be worse. Too busy for my body.
We won't touch that one.
No, I think we should do that. And thanks to introduce me to Ben Davey, and it's a pleasure. I've seen him from a distance.
Hey, thank you very much for having me.
Welcome.
Where's my longer introduction? I didn't get the memo.
No.
I'll give you $10 after.
$2.
No. Pay before. It's like the politicians. If you would have done right, pay now. I mean, come on. But this is what laugh is about. This is, I think, what music can do for us. And even if you're like me, don't feel as if you have that artistic, expressive, creative bone in you, you can sit and you feel unconsciously your foot just tapping the floor.
Yes.
And you can enjoy life vicariously through the exploits, or as the honorable speaker said, the nocturnal, ambitions of his cohorts. But that's a different. The speaker said
nocturnal ambitions of his cohorts.
That's poetic.
I've got a new song title.
There you go, man. There you go. So Clever Knots.
Clever Knots.
Not just a nautical term, but
no.
How did you guys come up with a name for that band in particular?
That was Mr. Sean Ebanks. Mm-hmm. So we Clever Knots, we're in our 13th year now of doing music. It started by myself and Sean way back then, and when we started playing, he gave me two options, and one was Clever Knots and one was Clever Foes. And I think Mr. Sean, where you know that I was thankful for getting given a choice of two. And he's very much the man with the words. I'm much more of a man of noise.
Well, I said by the noise, you should know them. No, that's not. No, but Clever Knots. And you guys have been on the scene, as you said, for 13 years. Now, band music is something that, for most of the musicians, it's not just something that they wish they could have done had they been in the places, but because of maybe expectations that we have on them as their spouses, as their parents, as their sibling, as their co-workers, as society. You can do that in your spare time. And there's no spare time. And when you're doing your spare time, it's a lot of commitment to prepare for that set and go and play for hours on end sometimes.
It absolutely is. I mean, we've had to work pretty hard. I mean, Rich certainly more than me at the moment because I'm just a drummer. I just turn up. But in terms of that, it's an absolute commitment to make sure that you're all there at the same time working towards something. I mean, it's one of those things that a song might take 3 minutes to listen to, but it takes hours of practice and preparation to actually put it together. It is,
even if it's a cover.
Even if it is a cover, which we do not do.
No, I was coming.
Segue, Ben. There was a segue there.
I mean, come on. Take it away, Rich.
Ben's right. And for, the songs, that you'll hear from us, there'll be quite a few that didn't make it as well that you work on, and then you end up just not falling in love with, and it just doesn't you just don't feel it really as a band. And so, further segue is that you're gonna have an opportunity to hear a whole bunch of new songs as we're releasing our third album, Sterling, called The Terror. And we will be performing it and some other material, all new original material, tomorrow at Agave for our third album launch.
This is what, and I say this seriously, man, with the greatest of love and appreciation, because I know what it's like to commit to something. Doesn't matter what that thing is, and to do it with such passion and dedication that it's for a time it's all consuming.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the reality.
I'm both excited about it tomorrow and can't wait for it to be over.
There you go, man. It's sort of not unlike our discussion with the Miss Kim and Universe contestants earlier. You wish you have more time, but you wanted to hurry up and come. But then on that night, you were... But Ben, original music is for many times, I know you're much younger than me and Rich, but there was a time when see, there's your compliment.
And I appreciate it. I'll give you $10.
That one cost $10.
Yeah, definitely.
I should have got the premium package.
Now you know.
You look kind of clever, Rich. You, Ben, are beautiful and young.
Hey, listen, man. It's a Friday.
Why is there such a big pile of money next to you, Sterling?
There you go. See? Kind of like you want to pay to play.
Exactly. Well, you'll learn these things in time, right? Once you have a bit more experience in the biz.
Paying for love.
There it is, man. No, I was gonna say something, but I know my friends over at FRC won't like it. That song, "Love Hurts." Love shouldn't hurt, guys. No. But when a record, we had those things way back when, and the side B was usually the one that they liked but didn't think would make it. Was the side that was played, and many times. I think of several examples where the side B was actually the number one hit.
Yeah.
Unexpectedly by everybody, from the producer to the composer. Right?
Absolutely.
So with your, mostly, I mean, I don't think I can recall any time you guys have done covers in itself like that. All the albums are all original music. Yeah. But there are pieces that you discard because it's not what you want. It doesn't fit your thing.
Yeah.
But some of those pieces, we as a as the fans, if I can say that, might say, this is the one. Why did you not? That's the shot. Why?
It's a pretty broad question, but there's a couple of things. I mean, for example, we have one song at the moment that we all know is a good song, but we haven't quite got it right, and we know we haven't quite got it right. Okay. So we're not really willing to put it out there until we figured out what about it is wrong. But the melodies, the structure of it, we know it's got something there. So sometimes there's that sort of artistic lack of confidence in what we have. And honestly, it's down to people's tastes. I mean, we're only 5 people. We put together what we can, and there's hopefully millions of people who will listen to us, but realistically a couple hundred. And
come on, I was going with you to the million. Raise that bar.
No, it'll be, but what they might enjoy might not be what we enjoyed making about the song, and then that's purely down to people's preferences. And there's no right or wrong of that.
Yeah, when we the funny thing also about recording music is like it suddenly you capture that song in the way it was recorded. What I mean by that is that in some ways you kind of hate recording your music, because when you go out and play it, or when you're practicing it, like depending on how you feel that day, or like just the energy in the band, like it comes out differently. You know, if you're having a really great day and everybody's really upbeat, you play a song a certain way, and if you're feeling particularly down or whatever, it comes out differently. And so like the song is never the same, you know. Most of us are kind of used to just hearing CD track or whatever, and that is how the song sounds. But if you go and then see a band live, like it sounds, you know, you can go see a band several times and they play the song differently. And so then it's difficult sometimes when you record it, that is then the take of the song. That then becomes definitively the song. And so again, when you're then recording it, you'll have different emotions about how it sounds, how much it's, you know, it sounds different or like what you expected or came out. And so that all has an impact on your confidence and what you think sounds good. And yeah, one thing, when I first started recording albums many years ago now, I was really astounded by the amount of creativity that goes into the recording process, the mixing, the mastering of the songs. And it's like a whole other new creative process other than the writing of the song. You think, oh, song recording is done, and it's just not, you know. There's infinite variables of how you can record it and mix it and everything, and you can create completely different sounding versions of songs. So yeah, that also all kind of contributes to it. You're like, okay, here's the song's going to do, and here's like the order we think, and then when you record it, you're like, well, it doesn't sound at all like what we envisioned, and you each have So yeah, those things all kind of have an impact on, I guess, how you perceive them, how others will receive them, etc.
Yeah, I think as you sit down thinking back to the song that everybody credits with Whitney Houston. And many people, from what I recall, would have given her credit as it was her song, when in fact it was Dolly Parton. Right? Yep. And when you hear the two renditions of it, there's no question that those are two distinct songs.
Yeah, man. Nine Inch Nails and Johnny Cash, right? Yeah. So Nine Inch Nails did Hurt, and then famously when Johnny Cash recorded it, what's his name? Nine Inch Nails is Trent Reznor. Yeah. And he famously said, "Oh, that the song now belongs to Johnny Cash."
Without question. And who covers it? They cover it as it was Cash or it was Houston. They no longer look at the original composer. But that's what I think what a song is and what music is. So with that, how would you describe Clever Knots' music? You know.
I hate this question.
Ben? The challenge of that question is, you know, the album is not thematic, you know, necessarily. You know, there are certain themes that come up time and time again, but everybody in the band, and we're 5 separate individual people with different backgrounds and different appreciations of music, bring something else to it. So sometimes, you know, and it certainly happened with all of us, where we brought a song, we know what we want it to sound like, and the band goes, okay, we got something there, but we'll fix it for you. And then you work on it together, and it becomes better. But because you're starting from different starting points each time, the theme and the feeling of the music is it's very different. And we try to do our best to make a sort of you know, a sort of sentiment throughout the album. But the reality is, you know, the song bounces between different genres. It's all over the place. We have some slow, beautiful songs. We have some quite energetic, almost punky songs. And we have good old-fashioned rock songs. I mean, it's just, it's all over the place.
But those slow, beautiful songs are not necessarily ballads.
No.
Right?
No.
That's the difference.
I guess, words, Richard. The album itself, The Terror, I suppose, like Ben said, it's a big mix of kind of genres, but it's really kind of an album of existential dread. I would say, I mean, it's kind of implied in the title, The Terror. But then also, you know, the ending is that it's really an album of hope. And we started writing this music. This is all new music. So when, you know, the band in its current form of the 5-piece, we've only been together for like 2 years, not even 2 years. We kind of came together, this lineup, for the Iggy Pop concert that we played like a year and a half ago. And after then we were all together and we're like, right, let's scrap all the music we've got and let's get writing. And we all spent the last year and a half writing this music, and it's kind of, this existential dread. It's a reflection of kind of our experiences, and art. This is our art. This is how we express ourselves. And so the last few years have obviously been pretty rough, for all of us in our ways. And so this kind of becomes our outlet. And so the subjects in it, deal with kind of love and getting older and death and all these kind of themes. And we're kind of saying it's like you don't write a song about love. You write a song about the pain you feel about love, or the fear you have around
or the joy,
love, or it's basically.
I have to introduce you to my
existential dread. There's a lot less. There's not many joyful love songs on this album. It's really like the mirror you hold up to these experiences and these subjects, and that's that's the songs and the stories that we tell in this album.
Would you be willing, if we can ask, like, it's the two of you and there's three others, right? Tell us a little bit about the other members of the band.
Ben, I'll let you introduce Sean.
So Sean...
Shawnee Banks.
Shawnee Banks.
Shawnee Banks, friend of the show, I believe.
Wonderful.
No.
Wonderful lyricist, a very opinionated man, who I respect deeply.
I love, man.
We have one of those funny relationships, which on the outside you might think is a bit abrasive, but it genuinely comes from a place of love. So he's a great guy. Yeah. We have Josh Rice, which when Rich was talking about doing all the mixing and mastering, we really have to give all credit to Josh, who has done an incredible job working through this album, ironing out any kinks in the recording that we may have had, and as well as putting it together as best as he knows how, which is pretty darn good.
Yeah, amazing.
And of course Jordan, who's our bassist, who's also been helping out Josh where he can. Very talented young bassist as well.
And thanks for sharing that. And the reason why I'm asking is because I think more often than not, and especially in this time, we have a break. But what I want to ask as we come back, we have to take the break, Mr. Fox. Apparently we got to. It's kind of like being married, you just got to follow instructions.
And what type of love is that you're experiencing?
Oh, trust me, it's not love at all. No, I love these guys, seriously. All right, let's pause. When we come back, we'll chat with you about it so that people appreciate it tomorrow evening. Is it?
Tomorrow evening, 6 o'clock, Agave.
Yeah, we want to tell you why. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
Stay clean, stay safe, hey man. Reflection sells gallons of sanitizer for only $25. Buy 2 clip-on sanitizers for just $5. Reflections has the best KN95 masks or reusable cloth masks, and you can get 2 for only $5. Blue surgical masks and face shields are available for children and adults, as well as 10 and 50 packs of black surgical masks. Volume discounts available at Reflections. Jose's Rubus, Reflections Hemp and Tobacco, all 5 Liquor for Less locations, and Food for Less open 24 hours every day. Don't miss the Liquor for Less incredible priced better markdown. Hundreds of fine from $2.99. Cases of ice cold below wholesale prices. Save $10 off liters of absolute exclusively at Liquor for Less. Prices so low we can't say them on the radio.
The offices of dermatologist Dr. Wayne Porter will be taking appointments from May 30th to June 2nd and June 7th to 11th at his Crew Road Clinic. Appointment slots are limited. Whether you're seeking advanced skincare, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email dr.porterkman@gmail.com or call 946-9020 to book your appointment today. That is 946-9020.
Approximately 600 children aged 3 and over are enrolled in local early childhood centers this academic year. 218 families sought educational funding through the Early Childhood Assistance Program. 77% qualified for funding. See if your child qualifies and secure financing before September by downloading an application form from the Ministry of Education website at www.gov.ky/education and emailing the completed form to ecap@gov.ky by June 30. For more important ECAP application dates, follow Cayman Islands Education on Facebook and Instagram.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thanks for joining us. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to be able to laugh a bit this afternoon. And if those listening don't mind me saying that, to other company, Rich Dyer in particular, I say this sincerely, man. You're a great intellect, but you have a sense of humility, and you remind us that, okay, you said looking for words earlier, maths and statistics are your forte, but then the creative, artistic way you express yourself in music is complementary, and with the greatest.
It's like a really boring superhero, just a musician covered in statistics.
I mean, that was anticlimactic, wasn't it?
Is it a bird? Is it an algorithm?
But Ben, it is, and I was saying that because you can, from what you shared, you can see that 5 band members or 3 band members or 7, but in your case 5, they're individuals. And as I was asking you, my thought was for us to, as we speak specifically to parents now, understand that your child today who may have an interest in music, may want to be a musician, hopefully that'll be better than a YouTuber, but that's a different story. Yeah. That child can still be that, and still be the mathematician, still be the lawyer.
Absolutely. So I've had an interest in music from a young age, but around about the time I went off to university, a little bit before that, really, I kind of started putting it to the wayside to be more practical. I did engineering, eventually became a project manager, et cetera, et cetera.
So you just tell me, just get to my music, man.
but really, I mean, but that's really it. I mean, it took almost a decade before it started clicking that, well, I really enjoy music and I need more of that back in my life. And although I'm doing well enough in my professional career, without music and without that outlet, you just kind of feel a little bit...
You're not centered, you're not grounded, man.
But it took me way too long to figure that out. And I think if you're lucky enough to be at a young age and you have an interest in music, pursue it.
I'm glad. Sorry.
I think it's vital, honestly. I was kind of similar. I was with an interest in music. I was put into piano lessons at a very young age, didn't take to them very well. I was then a kid at school who was like a blues pianist who kind of got me back interested in teaching myself from there, and then was kind of lucky to keep it up through my 20s, and it's now a case of, if for some reason I don't play music in a given week, if there's a short period goes where I don't play it, I find myself, and I'm not completely conscious of the reason it's happening. I start getting down, I start getting frustrated, and I'm only really cognizant of it after I either play my instrument or go to band practice, and I just feel so much. Just a bit more relieved and better, and it just has a really positive impact on you psychologically. The ability to express yourself. Which is, I still can't speak like artists. You almost sometimes feel like a bit of a fraud because you can't speak so eloquently about and philosophically about art, but. It's those who just can and more in tune with it, where they speak about the importance of expressing yourself and being in touch, and that's what art does. And it for me, it kind of just feels like a release valve that I don't realize I need to pull before, if I don't do that. And I think life, if I didn't have the band, I didn't have music, it'd be so boring, just waking up, going to work, coming home, cooking dinner, watching TV. Like, what am I doing?
Exactly. And I really appreciate that, because what does Shakespeare remind us of? Music, beautiful love.
Everybody loves either music, books, movies, art, poetry. There's infinite forms of architecture. Like, everybody loves some sort of art. We all have it in us, and there's nothing to stop everybody participating in it and doing it. I think if you don't do it, any form of art, you really should seek to find it. And music's a really accessible one. There's dozens, hundreds of instruments. Some of them are super easy to pick up and play. And if you're not a piano player or guitarist, you might be a Ben.
How dare you!
And he took how long to get there?
Out of nowhere. I was sitting there going, "Yeah, good point."
No, I was expecting
focus on the punchline.
I was expecting that 5 minutes ago, man.
Jokes on him. I do play a guitar and piano as well.
Yeah,
and not in our band.
But this is why I appreciate Rich accepting the invitation, not just to promote tomorrow's evening, right? Yeah. But here are 2 professionals, very competent, an engineer, Rich, the intellectual extraordinaire, right? And yet you have to wait till you get to a stage in your lives where you feel accomplished in your careers, financially, wherever that is, wherever that is, so that you can devote time to a passion, right? And I wonder to what extent we as parents, we as society say, listen, here is a would-be prodigy, here is a person who has something, but even if they don't, there's an interest and a passion. How do we nurture that? And maybe tomorrow, even as we come and share with you and celebrate, that it will come away with a renewed feeling of...
Yeah, I think it's difficult, isn't it? Because I think you hit the nail on the head. I mean, I went to university and I didn't do theatre as I was thinking to do. I did business and economics, and I did it because...
Much better.
Yeah, right? Yeah, it was
much
way more fun. Yeah,
I mean, come on,
it was that view that we all have, you know, like, we live in a society. I was going to say that, like, seriously, but it's, you know...
You being serious?
Yeah, I was literally saying that with entirely sincerely, but it's, you know, the pressure to make money and become financially secure is overwhelming. We all need it. And so that tendency to stick music or art to the side to make sure you're doing something where you can make money and be safe is compelling and just necessary. I suppose it is, if it's something you can do simultaneously, right, and not give up music for it, but keep that important part of your life simultaneously. It's really good for you mentally. It really helps you in your work. It helps you in all areas of your life. It's not.
And the other thing I would add to that is sometimes having an artistic outlet that is nothing but an artistic outlet. You're painting for yourself, you're making music for yourself, whatever it happy, and you're not trying to monetize that by being a musician, because that can truly take the joy out of it, because suddenly it becomes a job like any other. You have to go here, you have to travel, you have to do X, Y, Z. And the joy you got from it initially can be lost. So, you know, if you're in a position where you're able to make money to be comfortable and you have time to do music on that outside, I think that's a wonderful position to be in.
It's really true that, like, when my first band back in the UK, you know, it was kind of about making it, you know? We were, like, trying to get discovered, and that was almost the point of it. And it was still fun, but it was this real focus on, like, recording things, sending out, like, hassling AR people. And there was one A&R woman who actually got in contact with, and she was very nice, but she was like, yeah, you know, go practice for like 5 more years. But she gave this really good advice. She was like, just don't do this to make money out of this. She was like, you know, even if it will happen for you, it's like, it just doesn't happen for anyone. It's like, but do this because you love it. Like, and giving up on that, like, thought of trying to make it. And no, like, just have no inclination. Like, if it lands on you, great, but I just have no interest in trying to make it doing this. It's all about, like Ben said, just like doing it for the joy and not being about the money and all the pressures of life. And that, I'm really just repeating what you said.
Yeah. It's because I made good points. Thank you.
I appreciate the emphasis, though.
My stunning intellect is unraveling.
But for example, our band has been playing and practicing together for 18 months. We've done very few shows because we've just enjoyed playing together.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping that tomorrow you will come out Agave and be a part of it. 6 o'clock?
6 o'clock, yeah. Tickets from Agave. I don't know how many are left. Certainly earlier in this week we'd sold half of them. There's only 100 tickets being sold. Thank you to Tortuga and Coca-Cola and Audiophile, who are all sponsoring the show, and also Agave have been super cool and accommodating with us, and they're just really, really awesome support. Really, really appreciate Agave. And then also the guys at Sound Solutions, Derek, Howie, and Sam, who are doing a kick-ass audio-visual production shebang for the whole gig.
The Howie approach.
Yes, it's going to be. There's a lot of production going into the show. It's not just going to be us in the corner playing. We got a whole audio visual.
It's going to be fun
performance going alongside it as well. So it's going to be a proper rock show. It's not something you see in Cayman. You know, like, we all kind of miss seeing, like, our favorite rock bands and kind of cool rock shows, and you just don't get that here, obviously. But so we're putting one on, and it's going to be a proper rock and roll show.
But I hope that you continue to enjoy the music you make and make the music that you enjoy.
Thank you, sir.
It's a pleasure, Ben. Thanks for sharing with us.
Hey, thanks for having us on as well, man.
You know,
it's always really nice to come here and just give you $2 and get my compliments.
Yeah.
You know, cost of living, but we're asking. And just pay the later on the way out. You know?
Yeah, same as always.
Service charge.
I know the routine.
No, but thanks so much for accepting it. And I recognize the traffic was bad today. Your show is on tomorrow evening. But as a public, that we appreciate what is happening. So it's not just about celebrating and supporting the arts. It's about recognizing the talent that's within the shores, so that we have an outlet, man. So Kudos to you guys, man.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Tomorrow night at the Agave, 6 p.m. Clever Knots, Rich will be starring in, with his accompanying band, as he puts it.
I'm taking my $10 back. I'm getting that back from you. I'm outraged.
You see, I guess I should, in full disclosure, he said he wanted to be called Rich and the Richettes.
Yes. Yeah, that's still a working title, really.
Anyway, guys, enjoy yourselves. Maybe I get to see you. We'll see you. Right?
I'll hopefully see you.
All right. So, listeners, when we come back, we get a chance to even continue our focus on the arts and talk about an upcoming event with the Youth for Cayman Arts Festival. So, stay tuned.
Radio Cayman, the voice, the heart, the soul of the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
President of the Cayman Islands Tourism Association, Mark Langevin, says the decision by the U.S. to lift the testing requirement for travelers is welcomed news for the industry. He says it will, quote, remove the constant fear and concerns of people of having to quarantine in Cayman if they tested positive. Mr. Langevin adds this will allow government to fully review other restrictions, including travel Cayman, mask mandates, and testing and vaccination requirements. In international news, amid widespread criticism, a Texas school district police chief has defended the actions of officers responding to the Uvalde mass shooting. Officers reportedly delayed confronting the gunman despite knowing children were wounded inside a classroom. School district police chief Pete Arredondo claimed that officers risked their lives without hesitation. 19 children and 2 adults were killed in the May 24th shooting at Robb Elementary. Parents anxious to finally vaccinate their youngest children against COVID-19 strap in. A lot is set to happen over the next week. On Wednesday, both Moderna and Pfizer will have to convince what's essentially a science court, advisors to the Food and Drug Administration, that their shots work well in babies, toddlers, and preschoolers. Kids under 5 are the only group not yet eligible for COVID-19 vaccination in the U.S. If the agency's advisors endorse one or both shots for them and the FDA agrees, there's still another hurdle. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention must recommend whether all tots need immunization or just those at high risk for the virus. Those are your latest headlines. I'm Shanda Gallego.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
We wanna go and dally.
So you hear the joke about the goat that walk into the yard?
No, tell me now.
I hear it became brunch at Backyard.
The Sunday Funday Caribbean brunch at Backyard. Non-stop food, only $45 for adults and $20 for children under 12. With them store prices, only an ox would miss this, because oxtail on the menu too, along with eggs, bacon, callaloo, jerk chicken, and more. Oh, and the curry goat.
Backyard, non-stop food, Sunday Funday Caribbean brunch. Book your table now, 746-4603.
Talk today. But I do have some questions.
Talk today. Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne.
From boat days to beach gatherings, leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips for all occasions and celebrations. Let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back, and thanks very much for joining us. And I'm always grateful when we get a chance to showcase our youth, in particular the endeavors, whether it's in the arts, whether it's academics or athletics. And today, as we focus on Cayman Arts Festival, Ms. Fran McConvey, start with you first. Good afternoon, and blessings to you.
Thank you. Good afternoon. And thank you for having us on the show. It's always an honour to be here. And this afternoon we've brought 4 out of 6 students who are going to go to a music camp in New York State for a month. And they're going to go next weekend. And they're all string players. They're all some of our best potential young string players on the island. And they're going to go to an intensive camp by Lake Lucerne and get to play with professional musicians, which is absolutely fantastic.
And this is, I think, the opportunities we have. We get a chance to share with us. But Maria says, before we introduce our students, this is what you've been championing together with everyone, that we know the talent that is here, but we just need to provide the opportunity to encourage them to come and take up what it is. Who knows where it'll take us.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for inviting us. I was thinking while I was driving, it's more like a radio series with Cayman Arts Festival, because we've been 2 months ago here with Dequan.
Yes.
Dequan went 3 times. He went to this camp where he got polished pretty well there. And what you will see here today, there are 4 out of 6 new Dequans, because
Dequan
that's the
2.0?
plan. Yeah. So they don't know what to expect there, but it will be a very interesting experience for them.
Indeed. And I think maybe we can help them to understand. But Ms. Fran, would you want to introduce the 4 of the 6?
Yes, certainly. We've got, on the right, we've got Thean Bodden. And he plays the violin. He was a finalist in the Young Musician last year, and he also plays several other instruments, which I'm sure he'll tell you himself. Thean, say hello. Tell us what you play.
Hi, my name is Thean Bodden, and mainly I play the violin, but I also like to play steel pan, cello, alto saxophone, and baritone.
Yes,
awesome.
Quite a cross section. And then the next student we have is Jack. Now, it's only by coincidence that all of these students this year are from John Gray, and partly because during COVID we couldn't mix the schools, and these students did an awful lot of practicing, but they are all very talented. Jack plays the cello, but he plays other things as well. Say good afternoon to everybody.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having us here. I play cello, alto saxophone, and I used to also play steel pan. Yeah.
Thank you.
Someone to be on the silver screen, Jack.
Janelle is next. She's our double bass specialist. We only actually, Cayman Arts Festival, we have a certain number of instruments for the students, but we only have 1 double bass at the moment. We would love to have some more, but Janelle is our double bass player, and she has been mainly self-taught. She tells me actually she's Dequan's cousin, so she says it's in her blood. Here we go. Janelle, introduce yourself.
Welcome, Janelle.
Hello, I'm Janelle. I play double bass, and I use a history of piano to help me on this lovely journey.
Welcome, thank you.
And the final person here is Kimora Whitaker Bodden, and she plays viola, which is slightly bigger than a violin, and she's played viola for several years with Cayman Arts Festival. I'm not sure that you play any other instruments, do you? Not really. Anyway, she's going to introduce herself.
Welcome.
Good afternoon. My name is Kimora, and I play the viola. And I used to play the violin.
Now, you prefer the viola?
Yes, sir.
And if it's okay with you, why you stopped with the violin?
I found the viola more appealing, I guess you could say.
Is it the size, you think?
More like the sound.
Sound? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And I think, and I'm so honored. I know with Miss Fran, and she's a fixture, not just within the arts field, but within the education community. But I think she'll join me as parent to say that, to look at you, to see your enthusiasm and your passion. It makes us so proud. You guys make us very, very proud. Right, Miss Fran?
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Yeah, it is. I mean, they've worked very hard to get where they've got to, and they really deserve to go off and represent Cayman.
But we can have a discussion, with John Gray students and not recognize that I am #John Gray. So Introduce yourself for listeners. Let's
Good
continue.
afternoon. My name is Mr. McDougall. I'm Deputy Principal at John Gray High School. I have a particular interest in music. It's one of the subjects that falls under my area.
Yeah.
So I'm really, really excited to see the opportunity that Ms. McConvey and the Music Department and Cayman Arts Festival have provided for these students. It's so rewarding when you see a young person have a talent or a voice for something, and then things line up that allow you to give them the platform and just allow them to shine on that platform. So this opportunity is unique and very exciting to be sending some great Caymanian musicians off to mix it up with the rest of the world up in New York State.
Indeed. Yeah, I mean, I can see this now as an adult with children of my own. I grew up in school thinking that all of my male teachers had the same first name, Mister. I didn't realize it was that was a joke. They're like, I want to laugh, but I might get the detention. But this is where, Myers, we see these young students, and I look at some and I recognize indirectly families, and perhaps Ms. Kimura, maybe through you ask first. Was music, whether it's the viola, whether it's the violin, whether it's the guitar, the piano, any instrument early on, was that something that you saw as being part of your future, and especially future within the school day, within school?
When I first started music, I was introduced to it as a program at my primary school. So I was told that I was going to be taught the violin. But then when I came to John Gray and I reached year 7, Miss McConvey introduced me to playing the viola, and I recognized that I preferred that one. So I seen it as something that I could pursue and continue playing.
Okay. Janelle, what about you? And I think Myers will come back to the reason why we're asking about music in the early days to where it is now.
So I started the piano when I was 5, and the piano, it helped me to fall in love with music. At one point I wanted to be a music teacher, but as it progressed, I found that I wasn't enjoying the piano quite so much. And then I took up double bass, and I fell in love with double bass, and I enjoy playing it. So sometimes I think about whether or not I would like to join an orchestra or pursue a career path, but I love the sciences, so I think that's where I'm going to go instead. But for double bass, to make me actually think about that, it says a lot about how much it's made me fall in love with music.
And as I listen to you, I think back to just the two guests earlier. These are professionals, they have a designation, they have postgraduate qualifications, they're successful in their own careers, and music has always been a passion. So as they're pursuing that now, while they have their established careers, perhaps like the athlete who won football or basketball or track scholarship, music could be your ticket to university. Music can be that thing that, who knows, we may see you, in the London Philharmonic or somewhere, in Carnegie Hall, we never know. Jack, what about you in music and your approach?
My first kind of introduction to playing an instrument was when I first came to Ireland, and I was 7 years old, I think. And I didn't really do much, so I was just looking for things to do, and Miss McConvey offered me a place playing cello in her cello program. So I took up cello, and I've kind of gotten better. Well, I've gotten better as time's gone along, and the better I've gotten, the more I've kind of appreciated the music and the opportunities it's presented me with, and that's what kind of made me branch into other instruments as well. And as I progress, I continue to fall more in love with it, and I think that I never used to want to, but I think that it's possible I could pursue some sort of career or future in music. I would like to do that.
Well, I commend you, and I trust that you do. Now, before we ask Ms. McConvey, and what about Mr. Body? What about you?
I first started playing the violin in year 3 when I was chosen out of my class because I was good at math at the time. And so I started playing the violin, and at first it was very difficult. So I didn't really think about having music as an option later on. But then as I got better on the violin as the years went by, the idea of becoming, like a professional musician, it became more appealing to me. But as of right now, I see being a musician a possible career in the future.
There you go. Let's to go together with Miss McConvey. We know as parents and as educators what we want from our students. We see their potential, and we I'll use the word push. We encourage, we nurture, we press them because we see it. But Mr. Borden shared something that we probably felt as students. I'm sure we can harken back to those days centuries ago, whether it was football, whether it was music, where if you weren't good at math or English or something, if you were lucky, you may have found a teacher like Ms. McConvey to encourage music, but more often than not, you were relegated to something else. So how do we make the education system in Cayman, with the money we spend, to ensure that these students excel and not just be passed by the wayside and see this as an afterthought?
Ms. McConvey,
well, you're a deputy principal.
I've got a different perspective on it.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm somebody who has, for a long time, appreciated music, and it's one of those. I'm one of those people whose parents and grandparents were actually musical. Music's was always in the house. Both my grandfather and grandmother played the piano. My father was a guitarist, and it got to me, and I loved it, but it just wasn't the instrument I wanted to pursue. My story was I went down a dramatic pathway. I was involved in performing on stage as an actor. So still performing and still using an instrument and learning how to use an instrument, my voice, but never continued the instrumental side. But that passion's never left me. And watching how my own children, through the opportunities they've had with music, have that's never left them either. I've got one who's just about to graduate as an astrophysicist. And it's interesting listening to our students hear from John Gray saying, well, I do this, but I also do that. And that's wonderful. It's, you can be good at lots of things, actually, and there's no immediate need for you to let go of any of those skills. So keep on developing a passion for the different instruments. Now, to speak to how do we ensure that every student gets that opportunity, I think it's by the community recognising the value of platforms like Cayman Arts Festival, like the music programmes in both that are provided in both primary and secondary, and really encouraging our young people to find that voice, find that instrument, and celebrate the joy for playing.
Indeed. And Marius, I think back to discussions with Glenn and Angle, for instance, and the passion that we have in music. I look at the Jubilati program that's being rolled out, and the idea that, if we don't encourage and introduce our children to these opportunities, we'll never know their passions, they'll never develop their interests, they'll never become, that full sort of well-functioning individual. So when we come back from this final break, there's an event coming up while we're here. Maybe you can tell us about it more after the break, right?
Yes, I will
All
do
right.
that.
Stay tuned for Talk Today.
A caring and community spirit, cherished family and cultural values. These are some of the things that still embodies the Caymanian way of life in the Eastern Districts today. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, is delighted to offer products and services of real value. Whether it's catering to your family's medical needs or carrying apparel, gifts, and beauty products, Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
Early Bird gets the cheap tickets. Join us at Parker's Raceway June 25th and 26th for as little as $10 for general admission. Race on over to parkersraceway.com and get your Early Bird tickets before they sell out. Racers, we've got a special deal for you too, so register early. Follow us on social media for more event details at Parker's Raceway. A big thanks to our sponsors, Monster, Valvoline, AI Rentals, Event Pro, BP Racing Fuels, Parker's, and GK Spark Plugs. Get your tickets at parkersraceway.com.
Tune in Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. and 10 p.m. for the Daily Sports Report, covering local, regional, and international sports. Proudly brought to you by Dr. Wayne Porter, offering a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. Call 946-9020 to book your appointment today.
Can you tell me, what does a turtle do on his birthday? He celebrates.
Celebrate your loved one's special birthday with a birthday shout-out live on For the Record with Mr. Oret Connor, only on Radio Cayman. WhatsApp your loved one's name and age to 925-3261. That's 925-3261. Radio Cayman's birthday shout-outs live on For the Record with Mr. Oret Connor every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Brought to you by life insurance agents Michael Webster and Randy Lawson from Cayman Insurance Center. Don't take chances with your family's future.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thanks very much to this opportunity. I must thank our colleague Raymond Singh in sales for helping us to always facilitate our discussions when the Cayman Arts Festival joins us. So, in addition to Ms. Fran McConvey, Marius, like you said, this is a radio series. I mean, I remember a time with Glenn we had a very frequent appearance, and we've just continued because it showcases and highlights our children and shows us as a community. This is why we invest in them. So
you know what's the switch here is that in the past we were coming to present mainly events. Now we come to present students. We start adding a strong educational program. So I have more to say on this. They start forcing us to do more for them, and of course when we send them, just to kind of come to now with your question, when we send them to a camp, there's always a financial side, and we are always looking for community support. We had this one a few years ago before COVID. I remember that we aim high that time. We sent 6, 8, I can't remember how many, but I know that we're supposed to raise about $30,000, I think, almost. This time we started with 1, and then we added 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and some of them they have scholarships. They are covered. For some others we need to raise some funds. The reason of the event that we have on Sunday, this coming Sunday, June 12th, 4 p.m. at St. George's Anglican Church. Thank you so much for accepting us to have the event there. It's 1 hour, 1 hour and a half event, and you can give details.
It's an event for children. So these 6 students are taking it upon themselves in order to help raise some of the funds. They're going to do a concert on Sunday afternoon at 4 o'clock, and it's aimed at small children. So we're going to do songs that small children will recognise, and we've got some surprises up our sleeves for the children to join in. So it should be a very nice concert. So anyone with small children who'd like to meet the String family, at 4 o'clock on Sunday at St. George's Anglican Church.
Now, when you say small children, what ages are you? Marius, the age and younger? I mean, it's
I suppose primary school or lower primary school or preschoolers. It's that's what we're aiming at this weekend. Well, in fact, there's going to be 4 concerts over the summer. We decided we would do a Meet the Strings, Meet the Woodwind, Meet the Percussion, Meet the Brass, and we would put these concerts during the summer so that parents can bring children to find out a bit more. Just as many big cities in Europe and in the States, they will have these concerts during the summer series for children. So we're going to join them this year.
Some of the performers will be 5 years old.
Oh, yes. So yes, on Sunday we're going to have some of our youngest Cayman Arts children performing as well. Some tiny cellists and violinists.
Yeah. And I'm glad, Marius, that you reminded us of that, because as I think back to our students, they're talking about being introduced in primary school. And I think it's coming from what you had shared. Here's an instrument, you're selected, you're part of it. And as you grow and nurture and become, I guess, familiar or even accomplished, you develop a stronger interest in another instrument. But for that early introduction, Ms. McConvey, we would not be where we are.
When I was at primary school myself, I was in a school in Cardiff, and they had a peripatetic violin teacher who came to the school, and I was chosen in a group of 12 to play the violin. I mean, I did not have really nice. We didn't have nice instruments like these children have. In fact, I remember my teacher coming to the house when I was after I'd learnt for about a year, and encouraging my parents to buy a violin because we only had these very old instruments with nasty cases. And anyway, that's how I learnt, and I'm a real believer in group learning. I don't know whether I'm a solitary flag on this, but these children love it because they come and they play in an ensemble. That's how they learn. We don't do, unless eventually they might have some private lessons, but for the most part everything is done as a group. And I was interested to hear Janelle say that she played the piano, but then she took up the bass and she liked it better. And it's not just that she liked the double bass, which is a difficult instrument to play, and it's quite painful at first. It's because the camaraderie and playing in a team and playing together and listening together, that's how they get to be good. And the same with Thean. He started in a group at Red Bay Primary of, I think there were about 12 in your group that started together. Jack started in a cello group of about the same number, and Kimura started at West Bay Primary at Johnny Cumber, and that was a group of about the same number of students. But they came to John Gray, didn't you? And they were probably 8 or 9 years old, most of them, when they started.
And there's something to be said about group participation, team sports, but like a group fitness class. I think that's part of why the Jubilate was successful, because you're not isolating the child so that you're highlighting the challenges you may have individually. You're seeing that collectively you're this together. If I could, with great respect to you as students, sometimes we as parents, we push our children to our guests earlier as professionals, as accomplished musicians, having released original music on their albums. I said they were like we were dragged by our parents to go to the piano lessons. That was the experience that we had. So what, if I'm okay to ask you to talk to us as parents, do you want us to continue to encourage, nurture, and maybe bring you along? Do you want us to come with you? What would you say to us? Jack, let's maybe ask with you first. When you talk to our parents, what do we do? How do we do it as parents to help you as our children to excel?
I remember when I first started cello, I wasn't so keen on it because I hadn't done anything like it before. I wasn't really comfortable in a social setting, really. And my parents kind of, at first they encouraged me, and then when I still refused, sometimes they would just bring me there. And as I've gotten older, I appreciate that. I realized that they weren't trying to be mean or anything. They were just doing it for my benefit and trying to help me. And now, because of that, I want to go places, and I understand what it takes to achieve.
Awesome. So from the other hand, the parents' perspective, sometimes we know best because we have been there, we've had the experience, but we back away because we don't want to offend the child, we don't want to put too much pressure on the child. Where's that fine line, Ms. McConvey? Because I think you are probably more
I don't know. I think today it's a very difficult road. I think technology has taken over so much in so many people's lives that it's difficult to get the children to do other things. But when they're doing something that they love, they do it themselves. We don't. I personally never pressure children to practice, or I don't pressure them to come. I let them. They make their own way. They walk there themselves. I appreciate teaching in a government school very much because I know that a lot of parents are very keen that their children learn, and they put pressure on the child, and the child will say, oh yes, I'm going to do this, but the child doesn't have the passion to do it. The nice thing that I enjoy about the government schools is we are able to, it's not necessarily the parents, the children are the ones that have the passion. It's not the parents saying, I want my child to learn, it's the child coming and saying, I want to learn. And that we have a different, because we are not in a situation where children go to private lessons as such, it's a slightly different way of teaching.
Without question. And I think, Mr. McDougall, this is where we draw alongside, as a community, and ensure that the environment exists, the resources are there. We all have the same amount of time in a day. We just have different demands, and how do we prioritize?
It's tough to prioritize. In discussions with colleagues recently about school and about education for children, there's a phrase that's come up recently that certainly not my own, but it's one that resonates with me. Is we are all familiar with the phrase, nobody left behind, no child left behind, and we've talked about no teachers left behind as well post-COVID. But there's another little phrase that we would add on to that. I think nowadays that as we come out of that phase that everybody's gone through just recently, it's not just that no child left behind, but no child held back either. And I think the music programs, that we're discussing now is very much part of that second part of no child held back. Is that we just want to give that platform available to the students. Ms. McConvey is saying you cannot push a child to rehearse more, to practice more. You can encourage and you can show them the benefits and discuss the benefits of what more effort results in. But having that sense of we're not, if you're good and you're keen and you want to put the effort in, we're not going to hold you back. We're going to find ways and platforms for you to, or for us to celebrate your attitude and your talent. We want to do that.
I mean, the recent prize given, Ms. McConvey, that you had in the new hall, that itself just showcased the talent.
There is so much talent in our school system, and unfortunately, I mean, it's great, and we've got great kids, and Cayman Arts Festival are doing an amazing job, but we are not offering every child who wants to play, and we are not across the board picking out the gifted and talented kids, because we do not have enough. We don't have enough teachers, we don't have enough instruments, we don't have enough help. Cayman Arts Festival are trying very hard. We need. I would love to see government really invest in music programs for the primary school children. We should have no child leaving primary school and saying, "I really wanted to play an instrument, but I didn't get picked."
Play an instrument, speak another language.
And it's not just the child. The child who succeeds on an instrument is the child who's passionate about playing. It's not the child who, on the first day, picks up the instrument and can play 3 notes, and you say, "Oh, that's fantastic," or the child who's gifted at maths or in school. That's not the case at all. It's the child who really wants to, who is the one who's going to do well.
And Marius, I think in closing, this is why Sunday is just another opportunity for us to see as a community. The parents know, the small circle of friends and family know, but for us as a wider community, are we as aware, as engaged, as willing to partner? So 4 o'clock at St. George's?
Yes, that's correct. The tickets are at the door. I mean, we distributed the tickets to the kids to try to help us to sell them faster.
And we do have some, actually, Marius printed some tickets for people who'd like to support, but not necessarily come to the concert. And I think we've got a whole load of $10 tickets if you would like just to be a supporter as well.
Well, I commend you for it. Thank you very much for bringing, the students along and for continuing to volunteer. I think it's not going to go within the school system. We increasingly appreciate how much it takes to balance the curriculum, the expectations of parent as well as policymaker. But to our pupils, continue to have that passion, not just for music especially, but the passion for life. And as you work together and build, lifelong friendships, you'll see where that joint effort takes you collectively, but individual as well. I look forward to receiving your autographs, in the future. Just remember me. Say, I knew him.
I'll be the manager, so it's fine.
I'm the agent. Come on, I'm born in
the agent. We could do it.
We could do a big thing,
effort,
right? There you go. I'm so very proud of you guys. You make us so proud.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Enjoy your weekend. Have a wonderful, safe, wonderful, fun time on Sunday as well. And remember, Sunday at St. George's. Tickets at the door if you want.
Yes.
Call Miss Fran 916. But thank you all very much, and continue to love life and to embrace and feel the blessings that you are.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Sterling.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, Monday's Monday, so let's have a blessed and safe and productive weekend. Join me, Stuart, for the record on Monday morning. Come back for Talk Today right after the midday news. But please be a part of all that's unfolding, in particular on Sunday afternoon at 4 o'clock at St. George's. You can check out Rich and the band, tomorrow evening at 6. I'm sure there's other stuff that's happening, but if you want to know about that, call Joel. He'll tell you about it. Until Monday, be blessed.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. MedLab in Smith Road Plaza, your complete medical laboratory solution. Call 949-7331. And Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village, convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays.